morning dear students. Previous class we already discussed about the introduction to object oriented programming concept. In that session we already discussed what do you mean by programming language, what do you mean by computer program, what do you mean by algorithm, and types of programming also we explained. So today we are going to learn about what are the major building blocks provided by the object oriented programming language. So this concept will be applicable for all the types of programming language. So that we already discussed object oriented and procedure oriented. So both the language we can use it. So we can see what are the major building blocks of the object oriented programming. So building blocks of the object oriented programming concept means to constructing a program, what are the major parts we need. So this is common for all the programming language. So there are two types of building blocks will be there. The first one is instruction statement, second one is flow controls. So instruction statement means to giving the instructions we need some group of statement. So that group of statement will be categorized. So number of group of statements will be there, one by one we can see. Okay. So the flow control means that is a flowing the data, that is represented by to flow the data while executing the program. Okay. So first one is instruction statement. So instruction statement will be classifying into 8 parts. Okay, so the first instruction statements will be input statement. So input statement, so what do you mean by input statement? So the name itself giving the meaning, what do you mean by input? Input means to inputting something to the computer. That we previous classes and we already or many times we explained what do you mean by input. So input the user will be entering or typing with the help of any input devices that will be stored to the computers. That processing is known as a inputting, isn't it? So while using the programming language, where we are using the inputting statement. For inputting the data, we are using some group of statement or statement. So that is known as an input statement. So we are studying, we already explained Java programming language only. So each and every programming language, the input statement will be different. Okay. So many languages will be there. Example for the programming language or high level programming language will be C programming, C++ programming, Visual Basic.NET, Java, Java.NET, Blue Java, Sun Java. So different variety of Java programming are there. So each and every programming is having their own input statement will be there. So the purpose of input statement will be same, but the statement name will be different. For example, in C programming, that is a very old programming language, that is also high level programming language only, but in C programming we are using printf command. Printf. So printf is a keyword, it is used to printed format. Okay. So another one is scanf. So these two are the input and output commands we are using the C programming language. That is just example only. Okay. So in this printf is used to output command, scanf is used to input command. IO and OP. Okay. So this is one kind of input. The next we can come to the another programming language. That is a Java or any other program, C++. The next advanced version of C programming language will be C++. In the C++ programming language, we are using CE, console input. Console input is used to inputting the data to the computer. That is using another language. So when we come to the Java programming, we are using system.out.ll, system.in.ll. So two commands we are using in the C programming language. The first one is output command, second one is input command. So three type of input commands we already see. So the difference you see, the name of the command will be different, but both the three command intention will be same. Both the three commands will be using to input the data to the computer. So this is known as input statement. For inputting the data to the computer, we are depending on some command. That command or statement is known as an input statement. So based on the language, it will be vary. Okay. The second part of the instruction statement will be output statement. For getting output, we are using some other command that is known as output statement. So based on the language, it will be changed. For example, the same programming concept we can take. The first C programming, we are using printf command 4. printed format. For getting output, we are using the printf command. The second language, it is a C++ programming language. C++ programming language, we are using console output. Console output or cout command. Cout command is used to getting the output. In this Java programming language, or what we are going to learn, we are using system.out.ln. System.out.ln. So these three will be output command only. So but the name will be different. That is already I explained. Based on the programming language, it will be different. So the first input output command will be represented by C programming language. Second output command will be represented by C++ programming language. The third command will be represented by Java programming language. So this is the example for output statement. So moreover, we can tell output statement is used to getting the output while executing the program, or after execution of the program. We are getting the output. With the help of output statement only, we are getting the result or output. The next one is assignment statement. So assignment statement, it is the name itself giving the meaning for assigning purpose. So what do you mean by assign? To assign the value to somewhere else, isn't it? For example, in the programming language, commonly we are using two type of assignment operator. So with the help of that assignment operator only, we are assigning the value, isn't it? So that particular statement is known as an assignment statement. Then how it will be? Example. So we already know in the mathematics, when we are solving the mathematical problem, the equal to symbol is having more importance, isn't it? So what is the meaning of equal to? Equal to means we are comparing the values. For LHS and RHS, we are comparing the value. Then the same equal to, what is the meaning of equal to in the computer science, we can see. So in computer science, there are two type of equal to operators. The first one is single operator, second one is double equal to, isn't it? These two we are considering as assignment operator. Then why it is considering as assignment operator, I will explain. So here one expression, the first one, A and B is a variable. So A is having some value and B is also having some value. So I am going to give the expression A equal to B and A equal to B. Both will be equals only. We are pronouncing it equal to only, but the appearance will be changed. One is a single equal to, another one is a double equal to. Then what is the meaning of both the equals? See. The first equal to, A equal to B means that is exact assignment operator, isn't it? So A equal to B means the value of A and value of B. Both the variable is having different values. So we are going to assign the value of B will be assigned to value of A. That means the value of RHS will be assigned to LHS. So that's why the equal to is single equal to is called the original assignment operator, isn't it? The second one is also a assignment operator only or assignment statement only, but the intention will be different. So here A and B is having two different values. So here we are checking the value. Both LHS and RHS will be equal to or not. Usually in the mathematics we are using the single equal to. That means A equal to B means in mathematics the meaning will be the value of A equal to B or not. That is in mathematics. But in computer science, A equal to B means the value of B will be assigned to A. Okay. Second operator, A equal to B means the value of B equal to A or not. Some condition we are setting, isn't it? That means that we are going to check both the value will be equal or not. So this statement is known as a assignment statement. So by using the assignment operator, we are using the assignment statement. So the next command will be, or next statement will be expression statement. So expression statement, that is a very familiar to us. That means expression, that particular word will be very familiar to us. And how it will, we can see. So everyone is doing mathematics. So always we are comparing the mathematics with the comparison, because the 95% of computer science will be related to mathematics only. That means what are the terms and definitions we are studying in the mathematics, the same concept we are taking and computerizing. That's all. So compute, the word meaning itself maths only or calculation only. That's why we are taking the example from the mathematics. Okay. So the next one is expression statement. The expression means what? In English word meaning expression will be different. But in mathematics expression will be formula or some group of variable, combination of group of variable or modules, that under we can consider these are expressions. For example, algebra. We already, everyone knows algebra in mathematics. So how the algebra formulas will be? The algebra formula is known as an expression, isn't it? So the speciality of the expression will be the combination of arithmetical operators and alphabet letters. So such a way it will be arranged. So that combination of arrangement is known as an expression, isn't it? For example, the simple expression that I read, a plus b, that is arithmetical expression. So what are the major arithmetical operators? We already know, that is addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, modulus operation. So these all will be considering as the arithmetical operation. So with the help of these arithmetical operations, we can make expressions, isn't it? So the speciality of the expression means that by using the single variable, more than two variable also we can make. So each expression is having their own names will be there. So this is a binary expression. So binary expression means two variable, minimum two variables should be there in the binary expression, isn't it? Next example will be the quadratic equation. So that everyone is very familiar, b square minus 4ac. So this is the one, another mathematical formula. So this is we can consider as another mathematical expression, isn't it? So another one, Boolean expression or algebraic expression. Algebraic expression, xy plus xy whole square minus xyz. So this is another type of expression. So moreover we can tell expression means it is the combination of number of variables or values or arithmetical operators. So this combination will be making us expressions. So this expression, so how we are defining, this is known as a expression statement. In programming language or while solving the programming problems, we are using the expression. Sometimes the mathematical scientific problems we need to solve it by using the programming language. The example will be quadratic equation or matrix concept in mathematics. That under we need formulas and so that formula we are writing as a statement. So the statement is known as a expressions, isn't it? So the next one is compound statement. So compound statement means in the programming language. So actually this is completely related to computer programming language only. So while using the computer programming language, different statements we are writing. So statement means nothing. So that is just like a normal English sentence. But we are telling when we are using the computer programming language, it's called as a statement. That means that is a computer term, isn't it? So that statement. So that statement, normal statements will be the simple programs and all we are writing. So how to start the program, then what is the next statement, what is the next keyword or variable. So this all individual unit of a program is known as a statement, isn't it? So that simple statement is known as a compound statement. The next will be selection statement. So the selection statement is used to checking the condition. For example, when we are writing a program, one question, so check whether the given person age will be greater than or equal to 18 or not. So there one yes or no questions will be coming, isn't it? So that kind of yes or no questions if you wanted to make it. So yes or no question means that the answer will be either yes or no. So that kind of answer if you wanted to make it. So that kind of programming we are using the selection statement. The selection statement is always represented by conditional formatting. One particular or specific condition we are providing. So based on this certain condition, the program will be executing. While executing, they will get two answers, either yes or no. So for that purpose, we are using the selection statement. The next one is the iteration statement. So iteration statement is the most powerful statement in the programming language. So each and every programming language we are using. Without the iteration statement, we cannot write the proper programming or we cannot do the proper programming. So each and every computer programming language, such a great role will be there in the iteration statement. So what do you mean by iteration statement? So iteration means nothing, it's looping. In the computer science, the word looping means continuation. That means infinite. So looping means rotating, isn't it? So infinite rotating is called as looping. Then the example for the iteration statement. So we already know it's a very simple example. The fan. How the fan will be working? So we already know. So when the power will be there, we have switch on. When you switch on, the fan started to rotate. Until how many times it will be rotate? Until you switch off. So this concept is known as a looping concept or iteration statement. That means iteration statement nothing, it's continuously working. So we are giving some condition. So the condition will be working to started to working. From that time onwards, the loop or control will be working or rotating until the condition will get false. Once the condition will get false, the loop will be stopped. The same concept of rotating the fan. When you switch on, the fan started to rotate until you switch off. When you switch off the switch, the fan stopped to rotation. Isn't it? So that is the concept of iteration statement. The next concept will be flow control or jump statement. So this flow control or jump statement actually apart from the iteration statement only. When we are using the iteration statement, same time flow control we are using. That means one step to another step. So that we need to request to the programmer. Program controller will be there in the system or apart from the programming software. So one step is executing or one statement will be executing. While executing, we need to request to the program controller. The next control should goes to the next statement. So directly it is not possible to go to next statement, that we have to suggest to the program controller. So for suggesting to the program controller, we need some supportive statement or auxiliary statement. That auxiliary statement is known as a flow control statement or jump statement, isn't it? So these are the major instruction statements we are using in the programming language. This all consists as the basic foundation for the constructing programming language or computer program. So the next concept will be programming paradigms. So programming paradigm means it's a style of programming. So we already explained in the previous class classification of programming language. So in the three classification, the last classification high level programming. Again high level will be classified into the major two types. It's object oriented programming and high level programming language. In the high level programming language we are using procedure. Procedure will be there and object oriented will be there. So this procedure oriented programming language, how it will be using. So that is also we already explained. Then how the more explanation about the procedure oriented programming. So it's based on one particular structure or procedure. So the programming, how the program will be going to forward. That means how to write the program. So the writing methodology of the programming, procedure oriented programming is known as a top down approach. Top down approach. So top down approach means yesterday we already explained how the manual system will be converting to the computerized format. So before going to computerized, how we are going to gather the information from the source, that we need to check it, isn't it? The entire information we need to collect first itself, and afterwards only we are going to start to write the program. So that methodology is known as a procedural oriented method. That means top down, the complete execution will be from the top to down executing. That means that is how it will be. The example will be when we are going to explain it while evaluating a mathematical expression. First steps we are given. So ax square plus bx plus c. So how the ax square plus bx plus c we are evaluating? First steps. The second step, third step. That means one order will be there. The top to down one order will be there. So by the order we are following the order and we are getting the exact output for the next step. So that processing is known as a top down approach. So always the procedure oriented programming will be considering or following top down methodology only, isn't it? The next one is the object oriented concept. Object oriented concept, yesterday we explained, in this kind of programming they are focusing only particular object. So number of objects will be there. This number of objects we are going to divide number of objects. One particular object we are focusing. So after collection of or gathering the data about the particular object, we are coming back to the computer and we are writing the program and complete it, and focusing to next object. That means the majority of this kind of programming will be known as object. Okay, dividing the program. That means a big program we are going to divide in a small session, that is called as a module. So the speciality of the object oriented programming is known as a modularization. So different modules we are taking. So after completion of each module, that we are going to connect it. That is called as binding. For example, we already know we are conducting the annual day in our school. How we are going to conduct the annual day? So it's a 4 or 3 hours program. Then how the 3 hours program will be? So cultural programs will be there, or formal and informal programs will be. The entire program we are dividing in a 2 sections. That is a formal and a informal. So formal will be handled by one group of teachers. Informal will be handled by one teacher. Isn't it? Again the informal program or formal program providing the subdivisions, isn't it? So each subdivision will be handed over to different teachers. They are, what are the part they are getting, they are preparing, and after preparation of all the program, we are combining it together and presenting to others. That is called as program, isn't it? So when we open the program, different modules are there, different programs are there. So for dance will be there, so different class wise will be there, different class wise programs, dances. So these all will be separately we are practicing and we are combining, isn't it? So finally it will be combining it and we are presenting to the audience. So that is called as program. So this program will be divided into different modules. Each module will be handled by different person, isn't it? So which module you are getting, that you can complete it and that you have to hand it over to main part, isn't it? What the main program will do? They will combine all the program and execute combining, isn't it? So that is called as binding. So here in the object oriented programming is using that methodology only. Different objects are there, that is called as modules. So each module will be module 1, module 2, module 3 or module 4. So each module will be represented by different object, isn't it? So we are writing the program by different modules. So finally we are compiling these all the modules together. Then this final part we are executing, isn't it? So this methodology is known as a bottom up methodology. That is a major difference between procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming language. Okay. So the next concept will be the limitations of procedure oriented programming. What are the major advantages and disadvantages of object oriented programming and also procedural oriented programming? The first one is a procedure oriented programming language. So the first limitation or disadvantages will be data security. So by using the procedural oriented programming, we can develop the software, we can write the source code, we can write the program and we can keep in a system. That is, everything will be fine. But there is a problem. Security is less. So less security will be providing the procedural oriented programming language, because while writing the program, entire session we are collecting and started to writing the program. While writing the program, sometimes may or may not be the collected data will be missed. So after missing the data, we cannot join the program is incomplete. So that kind of security problem will be there in the procedural oriented programming. So that we can tell procedural oriented programming, they are not providing complete security for the computer program. So the next point will be real world objects. Real world. So real world object means to computerizing the real world object to the computerized format, that is a slight difficult. That is not an easy one. That means we already explained how we are writing a program by using structured method or procedural method for collecting the information first and then classifying the data. So many steps we have to complete it. It's a system study. The manual system we have to study completely. How the manual system will be working. The entire information you have to collect it. After that only we are approaching to the system and we are started to develop the program or software, isn't it? So that's why we are telling the real world problem converting to computerized format slight difficult, time consuming. After completion of writing the program, sometimes may or may not be thousands of errors will come. Thousands of errors at a time it will be there. We are unable to recover it. We are able to recover, but time will be taken. isn't it? So the recovering the error, sometimes we are finding the error, we are unable to recover the error. Sometimes the system problem or data mismatching, so many problems will be happening. That means in time we are unable to finish the developing of software. So that is another major limitation or disadvantages of procedural oriented programming language. The next one is extensibility. Extensibility. So extensibility means the ability to create a new data type. The ability to create a new data type is called or is defined as extensibility. Then what do you mean by data type? So before going to explain this point, first we need to understand what do you mean by data types. So a brief explanation I will give about the data type. So data type means types of data. So this concept will be common for all the type of programming language like low level programming, middle level programming or high level programming. So any programming language if you are considering, the data type is the common factor, isn't it? Then what do you mean by data type? Data type is nothing, it's a type of data. In the computer we can see, so computer, the major part of the computer will be monitor, keyboard, mouse, so many hardware devices, external devices we are seeing. So one of the major input device is known as a keyboard. So in the keyboard, how the keys will be arranged? Did you observe that is? So when you observe the keys, alphabet is a one particular group. So numerical value is in another group. Alphanumerics will be in another group. So different category will be there, isn't it? Why they are given the category? The data type means that only. So major data types will be three types. It's called as integer. The first data type will be integer. The second will be float, floating point. The third data type will be character. So four type of the major classification will be three, and fourth one is also we are using, that is not regularly, whenever we need, that is optional only. So the first data type will be integer. So integer means that we already know that particular word will be very familiar to us. That means in the mathematics integer word is common. The integer numbers. So 0 to 9 combination digit is known as the integer values, isn't it? So that is represented by int data type. Int means only numerical value, that is 0 to 9. It's not a, they will not accept the decimal fraction number also, isn't it? So that is another data type. So integer means only 0 to 9 normal numbers. So that is one data type. The second one is a floating point. So floating point is considered as, the name of the data type will be float. It's a type of data type. Or the programming language we are using. The example for the float will be all the type of decimal fraction number. The combination between 0 to 9 combination, in that all the kind of decimal fraction. Example will be 5.6, 11.2, 23.5. So this all will be the example for the decimal fraction. The decimal fraction we already know, isn't it? So the fraction numbers is represented by floating point. The next will be character group. So all the type of alphabets, both either character alphabets, capital letter or small letter, that is, it doesn't matter. If it is a character, it will be considering as a character, or the type of alphabetic combinations we are using the character. So this is known as a data type, isn't it? So these three are the major data types we are using in the all the type of programming language. Then what is fourth one? Data type. Data type is normally we are not using regularly in the programming language. Whenever we are using the linked program means sometimes we need to store the data in the system permanently or temporarily by using the programming concept. So by the time we need to input date and time. So when we are entered the data at what time, that and all we need to store. So by the time we are using the date and time concept, it is optional only. Whenever we need we can use it, but the data types will be available in the system programming group. So this three is called as a data types, isn't it? So the limitations of procedural oriented programming, we come back to the point extensibility. Extensibility means to create the new data type is called or defined as extensibility. The procedural oriented programming, they won't allow to create a new data type. Only they are depending on the system defined data type. That means the relevant softwares, the programming softwares will be there. Each and every programming software is having their own rich set of built-in functions will be there. So what do you mean by built-in function? Already just like a ready-made function. Already who developed this particular software? The software developer created the function or command and kept in a one particular folder or apart from the software that we can get it and ready to use it. Ready to use it, that kind of files or commands is known as a built-in command, isn't it? So this integer, float and character will be a built-in command that is providing by the system software or system library, isn't it? So how many data types they are providing? Only that you can use for developing the program by using the procedural oriented programming language. They won't allow to create it by the user. User defining is not possible. So that is another major drawback for the procedural oriented programming language. The next one is the maintenance. The next limitations of procedural oriented will be maintenance. So maintenance means, of course, we know to maintain the program. So by using the procedural oriented programming, it's small programs are there. So small programs means that is for practicing purpose only we are using. So actually the procedural oriented programming we are using to develop the scientific problems and to creating the games and all, we are depending on the procedural oriented programming only. So while writing the program, number of codes, the statements, so that means how we are considering the length of the program, so how many statements are there, so that number of statements we are counting it, that is the size of the program. So one small program it will be containing or the puzzle game we already know, so how it will be, so or calculator, so how we are writing the program about the calculator, so that is a very small program in the procedural oriented concept. So the minimum the procedural oriented programming concept statement, number of statement will be 500 or 1000 will be there, isn't it? So more than that it is such a big program. So while writing the big program, sometimes in between error will come. Error may come or may not be. That is depending upon who is writing the program. Based on the person it will be. So if it is skilled person, they are able to write without make any mistake. If it is not much skilled, sometimes may or may not be, the error can come or the mistake will be happening. So this kind of problem will be there. We cannot manage it. That means up to completion of the program, we have to wait it and while doing the debugging section. The debugging means finding the error. Finding the error, the concept is known as a debugging. So while debugging, we will get how many mistakes are there. So after finding the mistake, to recovering the mistake and finding a solution for the mistake, so that it's a very difficult one, isn't it? So that's why it is called as a procedural oriented programming. Maintenance is very difficult. And the next point will be memory management. Memory management. So by using the procedural oriented programming concept, such a vast memory there, that means the number of codes will be more, that much memory will be utilizing, isn't it? So while using the memory storage will be going less. So if it is such a big program, we are unable to store the data completely to the system hard disk or wherever we have suggested the storage area. So that is another big problem to maintain the program. So memory management, that memory also another problem for or another limitations for the procedural oriented programming language, isn't it? So these are the major limitations or disadvantages for the procedural oriented programming language.